Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And it is a Monday morning. It's the start of a clear, brand new week. It's a bit wet out. I'm snug and warm. I've got no plans to leave the house today. I do have plans to make lots of videos. We've got many different ones to come up, all sorts of different subjects. But I always think it's nice to start the day with a good story. A story that pleases people, that puts a smile on your face. And this one certainly put a smile on mine. Gross Rear, the wunderkind of the Green Party, the little unexplored chap who knows nothing about nothing and who's got no life experience whatsoever and yet feels free to pontificate on matters outside of his knowledge base, is being asked but perhaps he should leave the Greens. He should be fired. And why? Because he's got a big mouth and he starts opening it up and telling people all the secrets of the Greens. Well, not all of them, of course, but one in particular. And that is how much money they've got. Not his responsibility to do it. He is but a child of the party. He has been given far too much power for someone so stupid. And now he's been caught out, and it's the Greens that are asking for him to go. Oh dear, how the mighty have fallen. Mr. Spindle is no longer wanted. Here goes. So Scottish Greens want embarrassment. Ross Greer out after he shares party finances. There he is, a fine figure of a man who's never known meat in his life. Well, not on his plate anyway. He's sitting there and he's trying to flog these t-shirts. We did the video on this a few weeks ago. He's trying to flog these t-shirts. So he goes and gets a picture of himself looking particularly manly. If you spend £20, you can look like Ross Greer too. And remember, this is a man who's got zero qualifications, no life experience, still lives with mummy. You know, he doesn't know anything about anything. He's never done anything. He's never made anything. He's never achieved anything. And yet he still thinks that he should sit in Parliament and tell us what we should do with our lives. What a sad, sad sack of, well, I suppose, vegan tofu. That's about it, isn't it? Anyway, the Greens MSP has been told he's walking in the footsteps of the Nats with a lax approach to party finances. One of the things you do when you're in an organisation is you keep your mouth shut. You don't sit there and tell everyone, including your enemies, anything about what resources you have. How stupid. Of course, the difference, I say how stupid he is, how ignorant he is really, because he's never been in a position of authority before. He's never known the importance of keeping your powder dry, of keeping your mouth shut, of keeping secrets. I worked as an accountant, I've said this before, I've worked as an accountant for 35 years. You don't stand there and tell people how much the organisation has got in the bank. Nobody would do that. If you're going into for example, if you're going into a land purchase, and the people that you're sort of bidding against for this parcel of land or whatever knew you only had, so let's say £1 million available to buy the land. Well, all they've got to do is go in for a bid for 1,010,000. They get the land. They know exactly what your maximum bids is, so they can just go a tiny bit over and win. They're not having to go a long way over and win. It's stupidity. You don't do it. And of course you don't. But of course, when you have a moron like Gross Rear, a man who's literally without a single qualification, who knows nothing, with zero experience in the real world, what the hell do you expect? But then they promoted him. They put him in power. They said, yes, child, go be an MSP. Go rise. Rise fast. You will become one day the president of Scotland, maybe King of Scotland if we can pull it off, What a load of toss. Tofu boy isn't going to amount to anything, is he? Not while he's still living with his mother. And you just know looking at him, that he's so nasty and vindictive in his role now because he was utterly bullied at school. Now he's got that little bit of power. He's going to exact revenge on society for not standing up and protect him when he was at school. Anyway, Ross Greer has been told he is an embarrassment after he shared the Scottish Green Party's bank total in response to the Scottish Express branding the party cash-strapped. New sources in the party have accused him of a breach of confidentiality. Now, this is within the Greens. This isn't other people. This is the Greens calling him an embarrassment. This is the Greens saying he needs to go. They're urging him to quit, with one comparing the lax approach to finances with that of the SNP, who are currently embroiled in a Police Scotland investigation into fraud allegations. The number revealed came after a headline described Mr. Green as spindly. Well, he's hardly well built, but then the man doesn't know what protein is, other than the usual sort of protein shakes. He advertised the sale of anti-monarchy T-shirts and the green things. We've just seen the pictures there. I mean, nobody, if you had 20 quid to spare, you wouldn't buy anything to look like Ross Greer, would you? I mean, seriously? Taking to Instagram, he said the party has £180,000 in the bank. Now, that's excellent. All we have to do now is do the Ronald Reagan approach to breaking the Soviet Union. Outspend them. If you've got 180,000 and a penny, you're going to win because you can outspend them. And when all their money's gone, they haven't got the ability to push. They haven't got the ability to spend on advertising, on TV, on this, on that, or the other. And then, of course, come the election, nobody knows they're there because they haven't got the advertising budget. Outspend them. Break them. Destroy them. It's the easiest thing in the world now. We know how much they've got. The Scottish Greens defended their MSP, stating the figure is publicly available through the Electoral Commission. However, some in the party called it a flagrant breach of the party's confidence to do nothing more than combat a petty feud with a newspaper. What he's done is the newspaper saying, oh, well, the Greens cash trap. Oh, we're not cash trap. The little child. We're not cash trap. We've got £180,000 in the bank. Yeah. And that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a petulant child. He hasn't lived enough of a life to understand the importance of keeping his fat mouth shut. But then, this is what happens. You put a moron, an uneducated moron, in a position of authority and then let him get away with anything because you're too scared to upset the child in case he has a little temper tantrum and throws his dummy out of the pram. He runs to Mummy, hugs her leg and goes, Mummy, the bad men are saying bad things about me. Never mind, dear, never mind. Bitty, and then he's comforted again as he's having a bit of bitty, In response, Mr. Greer, who's the Greens finance spokesperson, said, as compliments go, well, not spokesman, notice there, yeah, said, as compliments go, Spindly is probably as backhanded as they get, adding, we've got £180,000 in the bank. A source speaking to the Herald on Sunday said Ross Greer has long been keen to follow the SNP politically, but now he seems he's walking in their footsteps with his lax approach to party finances. Quite simply, this is an embarrassment. Who would want to spend money looking like that? I'd spend money not to. There's a man that really needs to go out and get himself a few steaks, proper meat, put a bit of meat on him. And it may change his whole attitude. He may lose all that nastiness, all that bitterness, all that lack of ability. I'd say you could put some mayonnaise on it. Probably hasn't got the strength to lift the top off the jar of mayonnaise. Anyway, he said it speaks volumes to the current managerial grip on the Scottish Greens that a very senior member of the party has no fear in disclosing confidential financial information to the public. The loyal core at the very heart of the Scottish Greens decision means that there was never any chance of Ross facing action. If this was any other Scottish Greens member, Ross Greer would be urging them to stand down with immediate effect to limit further damage to the party. Mr. Greer should now heed his advice, own up to his grievous leak of party accounts and step down for the good of everyone involved. When even your own party members are saying you're an embarrassment, you're an embarrassment. But you've got a mirror at home. You've got that space on the wall where you would have put your qualifications, only it's a blank space because you're unqualified. You can look back at all the jobs you've never had and all the experience you've never gained, and you can possibly see that you're perhaps not the first person to be standing there and telling other people what they should do. You uneducated, inexperienced twonk. Anyway, I'm going to come up because it's just a great way to start the day, isn't it? Coming up. I think what you have in Ross Greer is a man bound up with his own sense of self-importance. All he sees in himself is this figure of virtuousness. Look at me, I'm so virtuous. I'm saving the world. I'm brilliant. He huffs his own farts because they smell of, rainbows and unicorns. The man knows nothing. The man has achieved nothing in his life. He's in power accidentally, not through ability. And yet there he is, sitting there, opening his mouth, letting all the big party secrets go because he needs to feel important. And he feels that he's the one that should be addressing major issues in the party. Oh dear, Ross, what a sad little man you truly are. But then you're following in the footsteps. Look at the only other person in the party that's got more power than you and is also a male. And that's another sad little man, isn't it? Is that all you've got in the party? Sad little men and deranged giraffes. Anyway, I shall finish there. Thank you very much for watching. That's a good start to the day. We have many more to go, and we have many subjects. So do please hit the subscribe button and follow today. It's going to be a day of revelation and truth, aren't they all? And we will continue with pushing that truth to the greatest extent. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye.